What's going on, everybody? Critical Writing back here again. Today I'm going to be bringing you my first ever podcast, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I have my dad right here, Todd, who's going to be doing the podcast with me because we both watched the newest HBO's limited series, Sharp Objects, and I have reviews up for all 8 episodes, but I really wanted to bring him on because he had different thoughts and opinions on the show than I did. So, yeah, we're just going to get right into it. If you haven't watched the show, click away because we are going to get all into spoiler territory because there's no way to talk about this show without.
No.
I also need to say that I've read the book and he hasn't, so I know more of the storyline than what they said. And yeah, we're just going to talk about every little detail. So, what did you think about the acting?
Just as far as the acting itself.
Yeah.
The acting itself was done really well, I thought. The storyline, the writing was really good. You know, I mean, and it was executed to, I think, to what they were trying to, pull off. I mean, I definitely agree with that. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I thought Amy Adams did great. Amy Adams has lately been doing movies I would have never thought she was going to do, considering she started off in, rom-coms and stuff like that, and now she's doing stuff like Nocturnal Animals, Arrival, now Sharp Objects, and it's totally out of her wheelhouse.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, there was way more characters involved than just her, so I thought as a whole...
Yeah, as a whole.
I thought the director pulled off what they were wanting to do.
Yeah. John Mark Valley, he directed another HBO series, which is Big Little Liars. Which
we have not watched.
I have.
You have, I haven't.
I have. And I actually really like that. That's based off of another novel. And, it's a little different. It's a lot different from the tone of this one because they both have, flashbacks and stuff like that, and he keeps you guessing. They're both kind of thrillers, but this one was way more, dark. And
this whole show was dark. Yeah, there was nobody to root for or nobody to pull for.
Not really.
Because, I mean, everything was just, perceived as the town's just messed up. Everybody who lives in the town is just messed up. So, yeah. I mean... There was nobody to root for, so to speak, or, the one person you sort of want to grab hold to in most typical shows and, and root for that person to persevere through and, come out good on the other end of something, and that was never going to happen.
No.
You could see that from the very beginning, first episode.
Oh, yeah.
That, nothing good was going to come about to any extreme. I mean...
No. There was nothing that was going... Camille's character, Amy Adams' character, Camille, was always going to get even worse. There was nothing to fix.
No, she was damaged from the word go.
Yeah, and, we picked up later on in the show that each title of the show, because they had Vanished Cherry and stuff, that was all scars that she's carved into.
Yeah, they were all words that she had carved on her.
And see, in the book, Vanish is actually the last thing she ever carved on herself. It said it, but they put it on her arm in the show. In the book, it's on the back of her neck. That was the last place that she always never did, and she was saving it.
Yeah,
and
well...
that was the last word, because every time she wanted to, cut and carve herself, she would just think about vanish. I'm going to vanish one day. It's not even worth it.
Well, I mean, she was perceived as, just one big damaged ball, and every episode peeled back another layer of damage.
Yeah.
All the way to the extent of, but you come to realize, she didn't want to kill herself. At least she didn't come across as wanting to die. It's like she didn't know. She was just trying to find that one thing to to like hold on to of something that was remotely good.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end, the one thing that did seem like one little spark of goodness
was totally ripped away.
Ripped away from her. You know, so you never got to see how that all come about. I mean, turned out for her. So it's all just, you know, whatever happened.
Yeah. I mean, they never really explained in the show why she started cutting herself, but I feel like it was
all that
given.
was based off everything that happened to her from when she was a little girl.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see that.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty much.
Was...
I mean, all the way from her sister dying to, you know, being gang raped in the woods, and they never got to the cabin, technically, or what.
Yeah,
that all was about. You know.
I mean, I don't. In the book, they tell you, and I've talked about it with you.
You know, as many times as she flashed to it.
Yeah.
It always seemed like it was some type of significant other thing that happened to her that traumatized her, but they never revealed it.
And see, in the book, it says that was one of a neighbor boy's hunting cabin. And,
well, they said it was on a neighbor's property.
Yeah.
I mean, they did say that.
And that was like the first time she was exposed to sex with the pictures. So I think that's why it's such a significant thing, because...
Yeah, but I mean, as many times as they referenced it, it just made, unless that was the perception that they were wanting to give you. I mean, everything in this show had a question.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we talked about it after every episode. I mean, I didn't learn no more this episode than I knew that what was going on the last time. I just got more questions. And the sad thing about it, in the conclusion of the show, they still never answered a lot of questions throughout the show.
And see, I think that they might have, and we just missed them.
Just subtle things. Where did we miss it? I mean, you know, I don't see it.
I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, because they don't spoon feed you in this show, which I like.
Because it's all about
interpretation
and the illusion of the character.
Yeah.
Of the whole, like, mysterious what happened. There's more. There has to be more. And I think they pulled that off. She pulled it off in her acting, and the writing pulled it off in the direction of it. I mean, and I think that's what they were really going for, was her character to be this just wall after wall after wall.
She's
after
an onion.
wall.
It's an onion.
You know,
each layer has a different meaning.
And she don't want nobody close to her. She don't want no, you know, everything is just, she's protected herself from being hurt.
Yeah.
Which most people that are depressed or other forms of depression, that's usually how they deal with things, is they learn to disenfranchise themselves from anybody so they never get hurt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they executed that well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this show, I like it because, you know, most shows nowadays, they constantly, you know, they give you questions, but then they answer it. But see, this show, when I said I think they did answer, I think it's all in the whole little things. They don't exactly tell you, but it's in the action. So, like the hunting cabin, they kept flashing back to it, and then when she took Richard there, you know, she let him finger bang her. Well, see, in the book, she went to the cabin, and then that night she thought back of the pictures on the wall, and that was the first time she masturbated. So I think little things like that, you know, there's a reason why she let Richard then finger bang her, but
oh no, I mean, it's one of them shows that, I mean, you got to be in depth to understand a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's not the show for the average TV watcher. That's for sure.
No.
I mean, they wanted, you know, it was definitely.
But see, HBO likes putting out shows like that, like
very provocative, you know, abuse and everything else. I mean,
hell, at the end of every episode, they had a hotline that you call for sexual abuse, you know, mental illness, stuff like that. Same thing. I mean, almost it's the same exact thing that 13 Reasons Why did.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, I have some I have some issues with some of the show. I mean, I definitely do because
Okay.
Looking through different prisms and everything. I mean, they didn't answer. I mean, the whole town's just gloomy.
Yeah.
Nobody's happy. It seems like everybody, like you said, everybody's supposed to be a suspect.
Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to. Everyone's supposed to be, how I took it, as a little off-putting because they don't want you to think that everyone's just normal in this town, and then you get around a few people that isn't normal, and then you just automatically know that the killer has to be one of them. So, like, say the sheriff in the town and, John King and Ann Nash's dad and, every other person in the town was just normal. Then you get to Camille's mom and sister. And then you'd be like, automatically, they're the ones that did it. They're just off. Granted, we got that suspicion anyways from the beginning, but...
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had this, the theory of her sister being the one who did it, her and her friends. We definitely had that theory very on, but then things would happen would get you off that theory. There was definitely a...
Yeah, for sure. They tried.
They tried very hard to
especially when they automatically, on episode 7 at the end, which I thought was great how they ended it, they left you knowing it's a door.
Yeah.
And a door, we kept thinking that something was wrong with Marion's death because they never referenced it, which we were right. But they also, we didn't know to what extreme. We knew she was sick.
Yeah, but they never really explained what happened to her. It's just Camille kept having these flashbacks of her and her sister.
Yeah.
It never really made sense, so to speak, of anything.
No.
It's just, her coming back and, all these memories come back and it's just like overwhelming.
It's just a flood.
To her, no doubt.
Memories that she had probably blocked off for years.
She never dealt with any of it.
No, but she also had no one to help.
But there's also people in this town that I believe, and I'm pretty sure you believe, they knew what happened.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they just never did anything about it because they're all scared. They're all scared of a door because I'm assuming of the money that she has.
Yeah, she's got power, and she will ruin.
Very rich.
She would ruin their lives more than likely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just things like that. They've been constantly scared of her family because even her mom was like this evil woman.
Well, everybody was scared. Everybody was scared of her to the extent of, they didn't want to make her mad or they didn't want to do anything to get in her bad graces, so to speak. Even her own husband. I mean, they looked just like a total dweeb half the dang time, and with no backbone. I mean, at all.
Yeah, he's the same way.
And it even proved that it's almost like he knew what she was doing.
Yeah, see.
But it's like she's doing it to Camille, but she never did it to my other daughters.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
It's a little odd. It just seemed very odd because he's lying to the detective about she's not here and all this kind of stuff. It's like, but turning the music up real loud and telling her, well, it's in your hands. That's your expertise and everything. It was very odd, so to speak, because his character was just like,
okay,
why?
Yeah,
why is he even there?
I mean,
it didn't make a lot of sense. He had really no role, so to speak, except he played music.
Yeah.
He didn't sleep in the same bed. It's like they had no relationship. Like she wouldn't let him touch her.
Yeah, it
was very.
But see, I also think it as another. You could tell that it added something to Adora's personality. I think that's his whole reason.
She's crazy as hell.
Yeah, she is batshit.
Yeah, she was just crazy. I mean, she was mental. No
Definitely.
doubt. I think they're all mental. You know, they never. No, we talked about that. The woman, the friend, I don't remember, Jackie. You know, what? I mean, what was the point?
I still think her whole point was
but in the episodes that she was in, and her and Camille talked, and the little things she said, it's like,
why not just say it all?
Here's all these questions. What?
Yeah. I mean, and see, they, like I said, I mean, in the book, they weren't in it as much. It mainly followed Camille. Like, Jackie was only in it a couple times. John King was only in it a couple times.
Well, I mean,
the detective and definitely the sheriff
was develop more characters than just them. And I think that was what they were trying to pull off.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Make everybody just have their own prop, so to speak.
Yeah,
that crazy. I mean, it's just.
Everyone's supposed to be the suspect. You're not supposed to know until the very end, until they want you to know.
And just for everybody to know, I wasn't real happy. I mean, I watched the show, and I was like, I'm going to watch it again. I watched it. I'm going to watch it again. And then it was to the point where I just had to know what was going to happen.
Yeah. Because we watched the first episode, and he's like, I don't know how I feel about this show. He's like, I'm going to watch a couple more episodes, and we'll see. You might be on your own watching it. And I was like, okay, you ain't got to watch it with me. I like it. And then here we are. He made it through all 8 episodes.
And I understand what they were trying to do, but I'm not that dark person that likes that kind of stuff. But I really enjoyed the way that they pulled everything off. I mean, I really do that. The only thing I had an issue with was the ending. That was my biggest problem with the whole show. That we have 7 hours and 45 minutes or more of tape. And then the whole show ends in 10 minutes. As far as they just whoop. Here's everything that happened. I mean, here's the truth and everything. And then they make you see the little flashback
in the end credits. Which was odd to me.
Like, if you blinked, you missed it. Or if you got up and just didn't watch the end credits, you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I said this in my review last night. There are end credit scenes of Alma actually showing a flash of scenes rapidly put together of them killing Ann Nash and Natalie King, and her standing in the woods.
The black girl. I mean, it showed that
she
too.
Killed the
she
black
killed her too.
You missed that one.
It appeared. I mean, it appears that she did. But I didn't, like I told you, I didn't have to see her go to jail and have some court trial or nothing like that. I wish they would have pulled that together in a different way. I don't know how they could have done it. It's almost like they run out of time and they had to come to a conclusion really fast.
Yeah, and
that's what it seemed like. But I think that's what they were going for.
Because, possibly.
Well, I mean, if you look at the past stuff, look at Gone Girl, how it ended. I mean,
that's true.
But it ended in a more way of a conclusion, because if you remember, Ben Affleck standing on the stairs and he's kissing his wife, that we never would have thought that he would ever.
Well, it even said that
go back.
Because even then, in the end of Gone Girl, they were sleeping in separate rooms, and then he's like, I can't trust you, but he wasn't leaving the house or didn't want a divorce. He didn't know what he wanted, and then a week went by, and he's like, okay, we can sleep in the same bed again. And then it's just like nothing ever happened.
It's sort of like, but there was a conclusion.
See, I was more pissed with that ending
but
than this one.
But there was a conclusion. This one, I don't know. I don't feel like there was a conclusion.
And see, but it also, to me, it also went back to the whole fact. See, if they would have just ended it with Camille finding the teeth in the dollhouse and no flash in the end credit scenes, that would have been a better ending. Because Camille's going to turn her in, obviously. She does it in the book. And, they just...
Well, I think they had to show the end credits to legitimize what happened.
Why? You knew it throughout the whole show.
Well, just to prove it.
They didn't need it proven.
Well, the whole show's been about questions, so that was the one question they did answer in the show.
See, I think
You know, and she's like, "Don't tell Mama." You know?
Yeah, but that was before the whole. That right there tells you that it's her.
Yeah, I mean, see, everything that was going on throughout the show, we both constantly thought that it was her.
Yeah, 'cause she was just off.
Because she's just off. And, you know, when Camille and the detective are standing in the parking lot getting drunk, and they ended up over at the whatever, standing outside, and her and her friends all come up, and she comes up to him and said, I could kill him right now, or kill whatever she said, and nobody would ever do anything about it, or whatever she said. It was something along the lines of that.
It was like, you could kill me right here, and even Dick over there wouldn't realize it.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever the reference was she made about killing, you know, it's like, you know, I did it, you're never gonna know, or something happened and it's like, you never gonna know.
Yeah.
You know, y'all ain't ever gonna figure it out or whatever. You know, but then things would happen and it would sort of throw you off more. You know, but I always figured that something was up with the dollhouse because they referenced it so many times.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. I mean, you got a 15-year-old, 14-year-old, 13-year-old girl. Why is she still so in this dollhouse?
Well, the other weird thing.
And it's a dollhouse of their house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a replica of their actual house, which is weird in itself. I mean, and the whole relationship Camille had with her mama, you know, and then her mama sits out on the porch and point blank tells her, you know, I never loved you.
Yeah. And
that was just like, I mean, who does that? I mean, that's just the coldest person that would ever do that.
But Camille's known it. That's the thing. Camille knew it.
Yeah, but she sat there and told her.
Yeah,
I mean, she's known it. She's felt it. But I bet she ain't ever heard it before until then.
No, and see, I wish they would have added a dialogue that she said in the book after that. Or it was a little bit after that. She was talking about after you know, when they're getting dresses and stuff, and she saw the scars, and she saw all of them for, I guess, the first time, and she couldn't imagine it, or made it go out of her mind, and she forgot, and then she saw it again. There's a spot on the back of Camille's back that she could never reach, and Adora told her that you're gonna carve your name into it, or I'm going to carve my name into that spot, and my name's gonna be on you forever.
Well, all right. So here's another weird aspect to it that should have been a clue to us was. So Camille, we thought she was gonna go confront Adora when she found out the whole truth about her little sister.
Yeah.
So she gets there. And she don't confront her. She sits down and starts eating, or sits at the kitchen table, and then she decides that she's going to take the whatever away from her sister and try to protect her sister, and let her do that. So then she goes up. You know, all this transpires. Then she tells her sister, "Go get help."
Mm-hmm.
But yet she don't. She goes to her room. And, you know, I'm a good girl. So basically, her sister's like, "I'm gonna let her kill you."
Yeah. But Camille wasn't thinking like that.
But that was just a clue that, you know, just one more thing to show how demented her little sister really was.
Yeah.
I mean, she was...
Also, the fact of the goddess that she was dressed at. You know, she's the queen of the undead. And they went more into detail in the book of the past of the goddess, which is, you know, Satan takes her and marries her, and she, you know, lives in hell. But for 6 months, she gets to go back and be with her mother. But no living wants to be around her because of where she's been.
Well, that's just weird all in itself. But
but see, if you look at it, almost the same way.
Yeah, I mean, she was just as batshit crazy as her mama was.
But I'm saying...
I think Camille was actually the truly sanest one of all of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But she was so messed up mentally... From her childhood, you know, it was just, she didn't have daddy issues, she had mommy issues, like severely, you know, but so the whole question was, alright, so she poisoned her sister. That was all documented, Richard found all that out, but did she do that to Camille when she was there too?
Camille never always struggled to take
So she
the medicine.
never took the medicine?
No.
So did she know that something was going on?
She never...
So you gotta remember, the very beginning it shows them roller skating down the road.
Mm-hmm.
They go through the gate, you don't know it's their house, and they're like sneaking into the house. And they go up to the bedroom and their mama's, looks like passed out drunk in the bed. And they're like sneaking around like scared of, like they're trespassing in somebody think their house. That was just weird. What was the point?
Because
what was the
point behind that was how I looked at it, because they never did that in the book.
But that was the first inside clue.
Camille wasn't supposed to take her sister out.
So you reckon that's what it was?
Yeah, because at that time, her sister, Marion, was supposed to be bedridden. Like, kind of how Alma was towards the end. You know, wasn't supposed to leave her room, wasn't supposed to go out.
Well, they never said that. They never showed that.
Technically, they did, because...
Well, later they did.
Because Camille said that, you know, me and Marion used to sneak up because Marion wasn't allowed to leave the house.
And they did say that. I do remember them saying that.
But that should have told you right then that all the flashbacks of them roller skating, doing like that, and when they were sneaking into the house, they had to sneak... She basically had to sneak Marion back into the house.
All right. So I did not pick up on all that. So, I mean, that's just... I mean, that's truthfully, that's one of the... That's another piece to the puzzle of this show that I really believe that if we sat here and talked about it or watched it again, we would actually find more things that pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, feel like if you haven't read the book... I
just don't know if I could sit down and watch it all over again. Not this early. Maybe later I could. It's too early to watch that dark of stuff.
For the book, well, I mean, I binge read the book. But if you read the book, you kind of know all the answers.
Well,
the show, it has its own, because they changed a good bit of it.
Yeah, they do shows for TV. It's not for the people who read the book.
I know.
It's for the mass audience.
Trust me, I'm well aware.
Yeah, it's for the mass audience. So, I don't know. I mean, I think they executed what they intended to pull off.
Oh, yeah. And see, I know, because I've watched interviews with Amy Adams and Gillian Flynn, who wrote the book. Gillian Flynn was heavily involved in this show. Same way she was heavily involved in making Gone Girl. She wants those products to be the best they can be. They don't want anyone, changing a thing.
I wish she would have had a better, more say than the ending. And because I really was disappointed in the ending. Because every week we were sitting there talking about in the 7th episode when it went off, we were like, how are they going to conclude this in one episode?
And see, I'm wondering...
Because they hadn't really revealed squat.
No.
So I'm like, they have so many things to answer, wrap up, and conclude all in one episode. And I told you, I said, I have a feeling it's going to get rushed or something.
Yeah.
And just because it was just so much. There's just so much to do in just one 58-minute episode. I think they I don't know. I just wish they would have did a little something different. I don't know what it would be. I don't know how it could have done.
I think if they would have never shown the quick montages of the killings and just let you assume, I think it would have been a better
Well, yeah, because then it would be like, she did it.
Yeah, you just assume.
And then that's it.
And then that's it. That's all you... That's where they should have ended.
That's what she needed the teeth for. She had to replicate the ivory floor.
Yeah.
That was in the bathroom or the bedroom.
Yeah.
So that's why she needed the teeth.
Yeah, they didn't need them.
They didn't need them.
I needed them.
Yeah. And you're right. They probably should have left it right there, because then you would have said, just the look on her face when she pulled that tooth up.
And don't tell Mama.
And you're like, yep, she did it.
Because her mom is in prison for...
Well, her mom would have been in prison anyway for what she did to the...
But she also...
But they never said that she got convicted for killing...
I know she did.
They did. So, did they convict her for the...
Marion
or for the other ones?
I know that they...
They said first degree murder, but they never said... I don't remember them saying who.
Well, I know that they did Okay, so they...
So fingerprints should have been on the pliers.
You would think.
You would think.
I'm not... I mean...
And Adora don't strike me as the type of person that would hold a pair of pliers.
Well, actually, she did hold the pair of pliers.
She had rose cutting things.
But she had the pliers in her hand also, if I'm not mistaken.
She was when she got the thorn
when
in her,
she was using the
her
down the garden,
because she was cutting her rose bush, trimming her rose bushes. You don't do that with pliers.
Then I mean, unless Adora.
But we're getting.
Yeah, they never really said that. I know that she.
We're thinking reality of.
Yeah, I know that she went to prison for Marion, the attempt of killing Camille and Alma, because she was poisoning them, and I think that she was convicted of murdering the other Ann Nash and Adelaide King. Until in the book, until they find out Alma was.
Camille turned in on. But I mean, if they would have went that whole route, I think if they would have just drug all that out, I don't think I would have liked that either.
Well, they never did it. So, the thing is they never had a trial for Alma or anything. It's just, okay, so how the book ends is...
I like your idea. I think I like your idea better if they would have just ended it right there.
Yeah.
Instead of showing a little montage of...
Alma killing.
Flashback-like thing. I mean, I think that would have been better.
So how it...
Otherwise, you'd need a whole nother episode.
Yeah, how the book ended, though, is I feel like they could have done the book ending if they wanted to in the amount of time that they had.
Well, then it would have been practical.
Yeah, it would have been practical.
And the whole show was not practical. So, why have a practical conclusion when nothing in the show has been practical?
That's true. I mean...
So, I like your idea better. I mean, I do. I mean, I think they could have just ended it.
But see, there's also another part that they could have ended with Camille in the book. See, how it ends is Adora goes to prison. Alma comes and lives with her for a couple months. She gets close to the black, a friend of hers. She gets jealous when
that all happened.
Camille is, getting closer to her. But she still had the tantrums and wanted everything to be done how Adora did to her, bathe her, stuff like that. And Camille eventually told her no. And then she killed the one girl. And then Camille realized when they found the girl, she found the girl strangled and was missing 6 teeth. She didn't pull all the other teeth because I guess she did it in an alleyway. She wasn't in cover or anything like that, so she just had time to pull 6 teeth. She called the Wingate police.
But they weren't in Wingate.
No, but the murders happened in Wingate, the other two. And I want to say Adora, was tried in Wingate and stuff like that. So, and then it jumps a year of Alma being in juvie, and Camille went and visited her once. And then it kind of does this fast ending with Camille after she goes and visits Alma once. Then she and Curry and his wife are hanging out with Camille at dinner, and then Camille goes up in the bathroom, stuck a knife in, and on that place on her back, she just started carving. And Curry burst in the door, and before she get to the face, and then it went to a couple months later, and she was living with Curry and his wife.
All right, so while you're at that story, let's get to him, because that was another thing that they never really answered in this show. So it's almost like we talked about it. He knows about her past, but they never said anything about her past.
He knew.
He wants her to go back to her hometown like it's going to help her.
He didn't know everything about her past. He knew that she liked to self-harm.
Well, he had to have something, because remember when he first said, he said, it'd do you good to go back home and reflect or whatever. So
about her sister.
So
I think the whole reason was...
He thought it was all about her sister dying that she's never dealt with.
Because when she started carving was right after her sister died.
He never had any idea that it was like her mama torturing them and stuff like that.
Well, I don't.
But we don't know because they never really talked about it. Because we know that she was in the mental hospital and somebody killed herself. So that was at the time when she's in the big city. So evidently he probably knew about that.
Yeah, he knew about
but they never.
He was part of the reason why she checked in.
They never really.
And see, when she went back to Wingap, it was only 6 months after when she got out. She checked out early.
Well, what do you mean he was part of the reason why she checked in? When did they say that?
Like,
I don't remember that. I mean,
they never said.
They never said anything about their relationships. That he's her editor and she's a mediocre reporter, according to him.
Yeah, but how I looked at it is,
it always felt like he knew more than what, there's another one of them question after question after question about a character. So
I mean, how I looked at his character was, it was more like he cared for her. He knew part of her past. Not, I think he knew that her mom was real distant with her and stuff like that. But I think he thought that the whole reason about the cutting and stuff like that was part of Marion's dying. She never dealt with that. And then, all the alcohol and stuff. And then she went to go work for him. And he got real close to her and started taking care of her because they never had kids.
Yeah, but they never, that's all an assumption.
Well, that's what majority of the answers
is assumption. I mean, it's all like, this is Mr. Rogers' fantasy land, and this is the assumption of, what all happened. And see, that's the good thing about the show, is I think that's what they achieved, was that every character was unique in their own form, because every character you had questions about.
Yeah.
About what they're doing, what they've done,
what
their motives are. Jackie, I mean, she had suspicion about what happened to Marion when she was a kid, because she actually said she tried to get records and stuff like that. But yet, what's the deal with the sheriff? I mean, we thought the sheriff was Camille's dad.
Yeah, which they never answered.
They never answered that thing. The book answered the question you said.
Well, that's what Camille thought. She just heard that her dad was an outsider from Kentucky.
But we thought that Adora and the sheriff had a thing, which they might have had a thing. They act like they had a thing.
Yeah.
But it was, and we were starting to think that he was actually her dad.
Yeah.
But they never answered that question. We knew Alan wasn't her dad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
all right. So I mean, it's just the same thing. I mean, it's question after question after question. And for each character and everything. So the other thing we talked about was the blood that they found under the girlfriend's bed. She found it. She'd already seen it.
Yeah.
So was she involved? What was the whole deal with that? She turned John in. Did she think he did it and was covering for him? I mean, her whole motive is like wanting to be in the paper and all that kind of stuff. It just, I don't know.
I think that's
just
exactly what
question.
She did.
I mean,
I think at first she maybe thought it was John. I don't think that she thought it was.
We thought it was her because we didn't think John did it.
No, I never thought John did it.
Once we seen that.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been that whole deal where she thought it was him, which I don't get why, because I never thought he would have done it. And then you have, I also don't think that she ever thought it was her sister or Alma. I don't think she ever thought that they could murder someone, even though that she knew that they were evil.
Yeah, but she knew the blood was there. That just...
I honestly don't know.
That's just another one of them...
It's just something that they showed to throw us off.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I feel like that's what they were intentionally... Stuff like that, they intentionally put into the episode just to throw us off. So when John, that way when she turned John in, it was like, oh, so she actually did know the whole time. That's what they were going for. She actually did know the whole time. And
but
it was just another mistrial,
Another misleading.
And I feel like that's what a lot of the show did. just to keep you off. And it did a pretty good job about it, too, because it kept...
Yeah, I mean, the whole show was like that.
And see, I like that. I don't like being spoon-fed answers after answers. I like to actually be...
Yeah, but I like conclusions.
Yeah.
I like answers.
I mean, like I said, I think that if they would have ended it instead of showing the flashbacks, I think that would have been a way better ending.
Probably was.
Unless there was more footage. And HBO was like, we can't give you longer than this runtime for the last episode, so maybe on the Blu-ray there might be an alternative ending with more footage that they shot. And if that's
that'd be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, because I could see that being like, they had a really good ending, and then HBO, either that or HBO was like, they wanted to end it on the note that they did, and then the flash credits scenes was all HBO's
yeah,
deal.
but I feel like they give them all the leeway probably to do all that. So I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that was more of the director, his style of doing things where everything's misdirection and open to interpretation, and at the end it's just like, here it is.
I mean, we know that they're that way with Westworld, because I told you what the dude said when critics were hating on Westworld Season 2. He's like, they're just upset because it's not spoon-fed to them. They're not smart enough to follow along. And that's what the CEO of HBO actually said in public. But that's also to a show that was widely accepted by fans and stuff. Sharp Objects, on the other hand, isn't necessarily, it's a new
well, it's
IP
just a little,
for them.
It's just a little mini-series, basically. It's a one-off.
And I hope
that
they don't decide to make another season. I really do. I know some of the people who made the show want to make another season of it, but it's not needed.
What would be the other season? What more could you do? I think if they did more, if they went into any more, they'd do more harm than good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because
I don't agree with that.
You automatically know it's almost. So what are you gonna do? Just follow Camille's psyche through the whole trial and stuff?
Nobody wants to see that.
No, because it would just.
I wouldn't.
There's only one outcome to it.
No, I wouldn't.
It's either she's going to die, or she's never going to be fixed. That's the whole point of her character, is she's never going to be fixed at all. She's always going to be the way that she is.
Yeah, more likely.
There's no happy ending to her story at all.
Yeah, she's always going to be damaged.
And see, the whole reason I said about the another season is because Big Little Lies that he did, it was a limited time series, and they wrapped up the story. But now they're making a season 2 of it, which makes no sense to me. Unless there's another book that I don't know about, but it threw me off because I saw set photos of Meryl Streep in Big Little Lies season 2, and I was like, that was a limited series. That's not supposed to be coming back.
Yeah, it's the same old thing. Money talks.
Yeah, but hopefully, I hope that they don't do that. I'd prefer them to go to another book that she did. She did another book called Dark Places. It was made into a movie, but I don't think it was as big as this TV show with Gone Girl. It kind of just flew under everyone's radar. I haven't watched it yet, but I feel like they could take maybe that and turn it into a miniseries too.
Yeah, so but on the flip side of that, on the last thing about that, on Sharp Objects, we were talking about that, is either Amy Smart or Patricia Clarkson, ain't her name?
Patricia Clarkson.
One of them I feel like is, definitely might get nominated for something out of this show. I don't think it'd be anybody else. I think it definitely might be one of them though, because their characters were very intricate.
I hope Amy Adams does, because she has gotten snubbed for a lot of her best roles. Like Nocturnal Animals, I loved it. I know you watched it, and it was weird to you, like this show, because it's just dark.
Yeah, it's just dark.
But she got snubbed. They didn't get any recognition from the Academy or nothing like that. And I don't get.
I think this one might possibly, just for the sole reason.
Well, it's not the Academy; it's the Emmys.
I think this one might more just for the content of what it's dealing with abuse and sexual abuse and all that.
It might.
I think this one might have a decent shot at it.
I mean, 13 Reasons Why's got a bunch of awards, if I'm not mistaken. But see, they're weird about HBO shows because Game of Thrones has never.
Yeah, they give Homeland awards, and we still ain't figured that one out.
Yeah, because we tried watching Homeland.
It's just.
He made it farther than I did. I came in and out between seasons 1 and 6, and it was like I missed possibly parts of the whole seasons, 2 seasons, and I came back and it was like I didn't miss a thing.
I ain't the biggest fan of that show.
No, but it's ending. It's ending.
So.
But what you think about how they ended Richard and Camille's relationship? 'Cause they ended kind of different than how they did in the book.
I didn't feel like Richard would, get freaked out over her whole deal because he knew something was up with her just by the way she was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just too much for him. I don't know, but the way they ended it, I mean, he comes to the motel room, the hospital room, and then I'm gonna investigate it further. Then he just leaves. I mean, maybe the old John deal was the end of it, or I don't know.
Possibly. I think that had a big thing to do with it, just because she betrayed his trust. And but I think honestly, he knew she was damaged, but then he didn't know to what extent. So all the carvings on her body really tells you how far she is damaged.
Oh yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.
I don't think he didn't want to handle it.
I don't know. They didn't answer it, so I mean, it's just an assumption, another thing that's left open to interpretation.
Yeah, but see, in the book, how it ends with their relationship, he goes upstairs, because in the book, Curry never shows up. It's just, he already had assumptions it was a door. He knew. She told him finally when she found, because she went investigating for Miriam's case files and stuff, not him. So, when he got close to Camilla in the beginning, it was just to see what their relationship was to Dora. And then it led to him actually falling for her. But she does get poisoned in the end. And she had actually been poisoned that day when she went and told him. And he's like, just act normal. We're having a warrant to search the place tomorrow.
And see, that would be too easy for this show. I mean, because that is a conclusion.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This show has no conclusions.
And see, they wanted you to think that Adora was just, Amy Adams' character was just going to die. Camilla was just going to die. And
this show has no conclusion, so to speak.
No. But when he walked upstairs and found her, she wasn't on the ground. She was standing, kind of, getting up from the ground. And he's like, saw the carves. He's like, "You're a cutter?" She's like, "Yeah, I carve words into me." And he's like, "I can see that." And that was the last thing. That was the last thing he ever said to her. And he left, and he never saw her again after that night. She never heard from him. She did get a letter from John King saying that, I hope we can stay in touch and help each other get better and stuff like that, because he actually did care for her.
Well, it didn't bother him.
No, because he's damaged too.
Yeah.
But he also never got arrested in the book, because he already knew that was a door.
Well, that was another thing they had to mislead you with.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I mean, I liked how they ended his character more in the show than in the book, because I feel like in the book, he just saw the scars, didn't really say anything, was just left and never talked to her again, and I feel like that's a dick move.
Yeah.
But in the book, at least he did, after he saw the scars, he did go see her in the hospital. So that says something, like maybe they did stay in touch after all. I mean, who knows?
Don't know.
Left up.
But like I said, I don't want another season to find out.
No. Leave it at one. It's a limited series for a reason. It's one season.
Don't do any more.
No, you ended it. If you're going to do anything, put it on the Blu-ray. That's all I have to say to HBO in putting this thing out. Put it on Blu-ray, and if you want a different ending or you want to wrap it up a little bit neater and explain it more to people, put an alternative ending on the final episode on the Blu-ray. But, I mean, I highly recommend this show. I highly recommend the book if you like to read. It's actually the first book I've read since high school. And even in high school, I didn't read the books. So, I actually sat down and read this book, which is a shock because it's been 3-4 years since I've picked up a book. But, yeah, I really enjoyed it. You liked it.
I liked it. I mean, I liked a lot about it. It's just it's a dark show. So I mean, it deals with a lot of stuff going on throughout this show. So
Yeah.
It can be depressing to watch.
Yeah.
To some degree. So.
But
it's definitely a good show. I mean, it's well done. I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I stuck with it. It turned out well. So
yeah, go check it out if you haven't. Also, check out my reviews for all the episodes if you want to see how the progression of my theories went through on the episodes. Because I did talk about it towards the end of the review. I had, gave a minute warning for spoilers, and then I went straight into it. So, if you want to hear how my mindset was after each episode, go check all those out. Or just check them out anyways to help them get views, because that would help a lot. We do have another show, HBO, The Deuce, Season 2. He's watching it currently, Season 1. I still got to watch Season 1, but I am going to be reviewing that. And then if the podcast does well, we'll do a podcast like how we did with this show. We could also, if this does well and you guys want to hear our thoughts about Season 1 of The Deuce and going into Season 2, our predictions, we could do that also.
Just know, if anybody ain't ever watched The Deuce, it is very explicit. So
it's HBO. It's basically...
Just know that. I mean, it's very explicit.
It's about the prostitution, porn, and
it's
the
porn
underbelly.
To a lot of degrees. So just know going in, but it's.
But I feel like
it's a good show. It's got I don't want to get into talking about that so much, but I enjoyed it. I very well character establishment show. So I mean, I've enjoyed it.
But I'm sure if you're watching our podcast about sharp objects, you can handle nudity.
I'm sure.
Stuff like that.
It's very very controversial. Very. Very, very well done.
Yeah, another thing
James Franco does a great job.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm going to watch it probably the week before it starts back up. Another thing is Ozark Season 2 is dropping on Netflix on the 31st of August.
Yeah, right at Labor Day.
It's the last day of August, I think. It's this Friday, 31st. I'm going to either do a review or do kind of like a podcast type deal with that. I haven't quite decided. If you have a suggestion of which one you prefer to watch, let me know down in the comments.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. It's worth watching.
Yeah. Like always, guys, let's talk about, what you thought about the show in the comments. If you have any ideas for any other shows you'd like us to review. I'm also going to be reviewing the Mayan show, which is the spin-off to Sons of Anarchy, which we both love.
Definitely looking forward to that. If it's even half of what Sons of Anarchy be, it'll be great.
Yeah, I don't see it being better, but I hope it's not worse.
Well, it's all about the characters. Sons was all about the characters.
And Charlie Hunnam made that show.
And they were, it was all about the characters.
Yeah.
And everything else was just, but it was all about the characters. And if the minds can even come close to that, it will be great.
Yeah. And then, trying to think any other TV shows. Walking Dead, when it starts back up in October, we'll be talking about that. We could do a podcast about all the other 8 seasons because we've watched those several times through, and we can talk about how Andrew Lincoln's leaving and how we think they're going to wrap that up. That could be a fun little podcast to do.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be, it's a lot of disappointment in The Walking Dead. Don't want to get into all that right now, but
it's definitely, we could talk about it for...
we could talk about The Walking Dead for a long time. So, we have lots of views, lots of, know both sides of the comics, everything, so we see the both sides of the people who are disappointed and the people who are not. Me personally, I look at it just from the show perspective. Can't compare it to the comic book. It's just they putting their own spin on it. But
well, you can compare it to the comic. You just can't fault them for putting their own spin on it.
You can't fault them for putting their own spin on it, so to speak. But
that doesn't mean they haven't fucked up the show already.
Yeah, that's another show. We don't need to get into that.
I personally have enjoyed doing this. I think this is a lot of fun, and I hope you guys like it too. Time will tell.
But just no matter what new show is going to come on, just know that the only show that we're waiting on is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Alright. So, just comment down below, let me know all that stuff. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, hit that thumbs up button because it really does help me out. Also, share it with all your friends, family, everyone that you know, and any people that you don't know. And hit that subscribe button for more awesome content like this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.